This is the other style of saddle I have. This is a really hard saddle, and this is really a good stable saddle for big loads. And this is Llama's Big Hunk, and this is the kind of saddle he uses. So I've already put all the stuff on here. So kind of do it from the other side this time. And Big Hunk is a hummer. He likes to talk, but he is an excellent llama. Sometimes this stuff gets a little tangled up, but as long as you know if it's going into the back or the front or underneath, it comes undone pretty good, pretty easy. Okay, quick and easy. Okay, so I got all 6 on each side. There's the bungee cord in the back, so I know I've got that part right. So I have a little bit different style of panniers. These are a larger capacity. So I have inside, I have some bulky stuff. This isn't very heavy, but it just bolts it out so that it looks more lifelike. And these have these loops that go over the top. And then they have these metal cams that you push on it, and then you take the slack out. You got to take the slack out on these loops just in case they go jumping through the water or jumping over a log. You don't want these bouncing around with a lot of slack in them because they can come off. And they have come off on me, so get them nice and tight. You have these big straps, same as the other saddle system. We didn't put them on, but they go across, and they are to help keep the panniers, basically just keep it in a stable position as possible. What these big straps are not for is for keeping gear on. The only thing that you can use these big straps for is putting tying your raincoat onto it, or the cover that you strip off in the morning that you have, because it's lightweight. Stick the sleeves through, double knot it, and those will stay on. But gear of just about any kind, I will guarantee that you will lose it. Okay, so what I've done is I put some bulk in here. So many times you'll get you're filling these panniers, and you're trying to balance not only the weight for each one, but your light bulky stuff and your smaller heavier stuff. So the first couple of times you fill these panniers, what I suggest is, if you're in the motel the first night before you leave, or you're on the trail and it's the second day and it's that next morning, have a piece of plastic, just a 6x8 blue tarp, and you can go ahead and you can put things down on that plastic without getting them in the dirt. So you can put bulky, lightweight things. You can have your kitchen. You can have all your sleeping bags lined up. You can have your tent. That way you can kind of go along and pick, okay, here's a big bulky thing, and here's a heavier thing. And then you're just visually going through this, and it's amazing if you do that how close you can get these panniers. You're trying to get the load balanced within a pound. So 1 pound at the most difference from side to side. So sometimes, let's say you're looking at a 60-pound total load. So that means 30 pounds each in each pannier. But you're going along and you have you only have 25 pounds in each one, so you've got a whole 10 pounds. Well, these, I really like these panniers, and most all of them, all the brands I've seen have this capability. You have these straps on top that are adjustable. They're sewn into the pannier, and you can put bulky things, especially, or you can also put heavy things too. If you happen to have something that's hard, like a fishing pole container, if you're going to put that in, you have to have it on something that you can really get some purchase on, a squishy thing. If you don't, because of the way these llamas walk and they have this kind of side-to-side gait, if you just have a bunch of hard things in these straps, they will work their way out. So if you have something that's soft under here, then you can really get this strap down here nice and tight, and then ensure that you don't lose what's up there. There's nothing worse than getting to camp and finding that there's a tent missing or another important piece of gear that either wasn't strapped down tight, or it was a hard shell item and it didn't have a squishy thing helping to tie it down. So the question is, did that tent fall off a mile back down the trail or 8 miles back down the trail? So this would be a good example. I just put a couple of bulky things up here. So thermarests are really good to go up here. Clothes bags, if you have a small to medium duffel bag, those are great to go on top here. So let's say now we have 22 pounds on each side. So we still had 30. So let's say this is about a 12-pound tent. There's no side I can put this on right now without significantly unbalancing it. But you have one more place that you can tie this to, and that's right onto the top of the saddle right here. Now remember, these big wide straps that are here to kind of help stabilize the panniers, you cannot wrap those over the top and expect this tent to stay on, or some other kind of bag. So you will, if you think you're going to be in that situation, what you need is about 2.5, 3 foot sections of cord, the nylon cord, and so that you can run it right underneath the saddle here at the horns, and then bring it across and tie it. This is a squishy thing, so you can get it nice and tight, and you will be able to ensure that your whatever you have on here stays on here. I have a lot of bag items that I use, and they have a handle. They have a sewn-in handle. So if you're tying that kind of stuff on top, one of your straps, one of your cords, whatever, run that through your handle so that if perchance that thing does wiggle loose, it may wiggle loose and be dragging along, but you don't lose it. It stays on the animal. If that's the case, they'll tell you real quick that something is kind of dragging down below there. There's also a rain cover that goes over this. It's just a nylon sheet with a couple of hooks on each end that hook into these rings right down here. There's no wrong way to put it on, and it's pretty darn simple to put that on. And then the last combination, which you can get into, and this is all stuff that you're probably going to pick up pretty quick on the trail anyway, but it's nice to know it the first time you go out. So let's say, again, you're at about 25 pounds each, and you have another 10 pounds that you can put on the animal, and you have one big heavy item. So let's say you have a duffel bag that's pretty darn heavy. Again, you put it on one side or another, then it's not going to work. You can put it on up here, And then you take these straps that are sewn in, undo them, and then X them across to the other side. Especially if you have sometimes some families, they'll come and they'll have one good sized duffel bag that has 2 or 3 people's clothes in it. And it doesn't weigh enough to really want to put it inside the pannier because it's just too much bulk and not enough weight. And but if you put it up here crossways, the weight is distributed evenly. You have some really good straps to tie this onto, and so that works out real well there.